Welcome to the Charity Connector. Hosted by Dominic Fenton and produced by Grow Radio, we give you an insight into the hearts of charities making waves in our world.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Charity Connector. I'm your host, Dom Fenton, and welcome to another episode. Today we've got Robert with us. Robert, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Dominic. How are you? Nice to be here. Thank you for inviting us on.
Yeah, no problem at all. It's great to have you. For those that don't know who you are and what you do, why don't you introduce yourself to the listeners and the viewers?
Sure, no problem. Thank you very much. So my name's Rob Talbot. I work for a great little charity, small charity called Epic. We're based in the West Midlands. And what we do is help people, young people, aged 16 to 25, who typically come from disadvantaged backgrounds or who have faced adversity in the formative years of their lives. We help them to set up their own business and go down the entrepreneurship journey. That's in a nutshell what we do.
Wow. And how long, talk to me about the organisation itself. How long have they been going? Why were they set up? These sort of things, just so we can get an idea.
Oh, okay. So Epic's been going sort of 3 or 4 years or so, focusing really, as I say, on the West Midlands area. And it was really set up because there's an overwhelming desire to help and encourage young people to take a non-traditional work route and to set up their own business. There's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit out there. There's a lot of talent out there, and desire to set up businesses, to start your own business. But there is really not the sort of support structure and infrastructure readily accessible to some of the more sort of marginalized or disadvantaged groups. So what we're trying to do is put together, or what we do is put together a range of support services and offerings to help the young people on their entrepreneurial journey. So what we do, for example, is we provide masterclasses in a number of key business topics like marketing, legal, business planning, project planning, that sort of thing. We also provide one-to-one mentoring. So we're offering support, guidance, and business knowledge to our young people on a one-to-one basis. We also provide grants of up to £1,000 to help get these businesses off the ground. And we also provide access to networks, to individuals, to high net worth individuals for the sake of argument, or to help accelerate the growth of the businesses that the young people are trying to set up. So we've got a really interesting array of young people we work with, a whole different, a very wide variety of businesses, some sort of retail products, some technology focused services, an absolute massive broad spectrum of businesses and varying degrees of successes as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And obviously, having been in business myself, and I personally, I don't always feel I'm in a business. I'm very fortunate. I love what I do. These being one of them. And I think as well, in terms of business, obviously yourself, you've been involved in business yourself, haven't you?
That's right, yes. So I come from software business, the technology services business. So I've only been with Epic for 6 months for 6 months or so. But I set up my own software services business in 2010. I grew it to about 70 or so members of staff. We had offices in the UK, in London and Manchester. We had an office in India where we ran some of our support services from. I sold that in 2018 and I set up another technology company that provided mobile solutions to financial services sector. So I'm, very passionate about the benefits and merits of having your own business and running your own business, and the freedom and the way it just opens your mind and you see the world in a completely different way than you would do as an employee. So I'm all for enterprise. I'm all for encouraging people to do their own thing, be their own bosses, be the master of their own destiny, and go on that exciting journey. And it's hard, it's a struggle, but so is employment. But at least with self-employment, you're ultimately only answerable to yourself. There are outside factors and outside influences that pop up and mess things up every now and again. But it's like the old adage, the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think Epic it's a great cause. Um, and I'm lucky to have found them, to be fair, because the match between my interest, my passion, and what they do is perfect. And so if I can touch a few lives and impart some of my knowledge and experience on the young people that we come across and make their lives better, then that's a win as far as I'm concerned. And I'd actively encourage any person from any walk of life at some point in their lives to set up their own business and take the plunge and see what it feels like, because it's addictive as well.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And I think in terms of the charity sector, I think we can always tell when people get involved because there's passion there. And certainly just coming across, we can see the passion that you had for what you're doing and what you've done beforehand. Did you see previously that when you were involved in your own company, actually there was a need for this to happen? There was a need to be able to provide young people the opportunity to set their own business up?
No, to be honest with you, the reasons for me setting up my business were kind of, I was in a corner, and everyone talks about wanting to set up their own business, and there's never a good time to. There's always an excuse not to. There's always a reason not to. You've got a job, you're getting comfortable pay, you're doing this, you're doing that, and it's not the right time. I found myself in a bind, and so kind of there was nothing to lose, absolutely nothing to lose, and that was kind of the best time, I guess, to set up a business. Um, and so I was very focused on that, and I just wasn't worldly aware of what was going on around me, because it was just so focused of
Yeah,
this has to succeed, because if it doesn't succeed, I don't know what quite happens next,
what's
sort
going to
of
happen?
thing.
Yeah,
But having come out of it all and being able to sort of enjoy the benefits of it being successful, I can absolutely see the need for more encouragement for young people, and it's really about the availability of information, the availability of educational material, and that's the sort of stuff that Epic offers in terms of the masterclasses. And we work with a few, one main West Midlands-based university, for the sake of argument, and they have sort of an enterprise business course, and we kind of complement the services that they offer to their students. So we've got a few undergraduates that are on our program as well, but we really do see the complementary services and offerings that we can provide over and above what these undergraduates are learning from their courses. And certainly engaging with the young people there, there's so much passion and enthusiasm and interest for alternative routes of life. Years ago it was about you get a job for life, you do this, you join Marks and Spencers and you spend 30, 40 years there, you collect your pension, you die, and that's it, sort of thing. The world ain't like that anymore,
yeah,
and it's much better for it, but it's certainly more, everything's up in the air. You can't predict, and if you can get into your head the importance of being self-reliant, um, you'll never have to worry about anything ever again. You're set.
yeah. No, I love that. So, in terms of Epic, are there different? Obviously, you've said there's sort of master classes and things like that. Are there? How do young people find out about what you do?
It's so as I say, we're a small charity. Last year we had about 30 people going through our program. This year we're hoping to have about 100 or so people going through our program. We engage a lot with local communities, different groups within the West Midlands, but increasingly we're in the fortunate position of we're getting referrals through word of mouth. So we're sort of at the stage now where more and more of the young people that we're seeing have heard about us. Obviously, we've got a good degree of social media activity and social media presence, but certainly through clubs, societies, all the work that a couple of my colleagues do on the community front side, we are getting a good reputation and a good name. So people have heard of us. It's then just a case of people now, or the young people, just sort of taking the step to saying, can we join your program? Can we find out more? And having that first initial step, because it is even in contacting us, it's a big step to sort of say, I'm interested, I have an idea. But these are young people, the youngest people we deal with, they're 16, they're still very young people, and they've got an idea, and they might be scared to say, look, I've got an idea, this is my business. They might think we'll laugh at them, we might think it's a stupid idea. There's no such thing as a stupid idea, there's no such thing as a bad idea. The very worst that you will come out from joining the program, if you don't have a successful business at the end of it, what you'll come out with knowledge, understanding, and business skills that will, maybe not have helped you in your first pass at setting up your own business, but maybe in your second or third attempt of setting up your own business. Epic taught me this. I remember this marketing session. I remember this business planning session. I remember this project planning session that suggested this. And it's that education, it's that access to knowledge, it's that access to information that really, makes a difference. We connect people as well. We've got a very good established network of businesses, of individuals, of, as I said, high net worth of people who can really make a difference. And that in itself is priceless. You never know who you're going to bump into. There's this thing called the 6 degrees of separation, whereby everyone in the world through 6 degrees of separation. I know you know someone else, you know someone else. Suddenly, you're only 6 degrees away from Bill Gates. Well, isn't that a nice thing? So it's amazing how networks work. And if I could have my time again, I would certainly not have undervalued the benefit of a network as I did in my earlier years. It's just so important.
Yeah, and I think as well, having been part of a few networks myself, and again, you never know who someone else is going to know.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of it. And it's certainly, it's for me, and that's the biggest thing I've learned is actually don't underestimate who people know. When you go into a room, just chat to people, and then actually you're going to probably be introduced to someone else as well.
So the best example of that I can give as a live example on a very simple basis, I mentor and support one young guy, very nice guy. He's got a tidy little business. It turns over a good amount. He's only 20, but it turns over a good amount. He's got fantastic net profit. I introduced him to someone who had experience of his sector business, of his idea, of his service. And with a couple of tweaks and refinements to his business, he has managed to increase his net profit by just under 50%. He hasn't even had to get any new business to do that. He's just had to put a little bit of operational efficiencies in place, and he has increased his net profits by, as I say, just under 50%. So there's all sorts of benefits of networking, of connecting with people, of having conversations with people. You never know where it's going to lead. But the worst thing you can do is be a closed door to opportunity.
Yeah. I'm a believer in actually, if an opportunity comes, say yes. And this is how I work. Say yes, and we'll work out how we do it afterwards.
I think there's that Jim Carrey film, something like The Man Who Said Yes All the Time. He just said yes to everything. And it's a great film. It's hilarious in places. And he gets himself into all sorts of trouble. But funnily enough, in the end, it all comes good for him because he just says yes.
Yeah.
It's great. It's a great philosophy to have.
Yeah. And I normally do stuff using my gut. If, I have a gut instinct. If an opportunity comes, say yes. And actually, we work out how to do it afterwards. Because again, that's what people say. They go, I don't know how people fit in so much stuff. Well, we work on it, and that's what we do. We have the efficiency and things behind it, and we make it work.
Yeah, so my background is salesman. Is sales. I'm basically a glorified salesman. That's all I am. And my mantra was, let's win it and worry about it later.
Yeah.
How we're going to deliver it later. Let's win the business. Let's get the business in. Let's see, what the size and value of it. But then let's worry about the delivery once we've won it. What goes on behind the scenes is different to what the customer actually sees. So we'll win it and worry about it later.
So in terms of Epic, plans for the next couple of years, where as an organization, where are you looking at going? Obviously increasing numbers of young people coming in.
Yeah, so at the moment we're trying to roll out the success through the West Midlands area. So as I say, we're pretty small. 100 people is not a lot, but we want to have a real nice group of success stories, case studies, references that showcase the wonderful businesses that we've helped establish within the West Midlands area within the sort of 16 to 25 age range. Once we've got that established, over the next few years, we would like to roll this out on a more national basis. Kind of the London area is an obvious area for us to go to next, but really, as we can, grow it on a more national basis. And it's difficult though. We provide grants of up to £1,000 to all our young people to help them grow their businesses. And that money's got to come from somewhere, and we need to generate income. We need to generate funds. So it's the usual ways and struggles that charities have to get income. So if we have 100 young people going through our program, that's £100,000 at the minimum we need to raise just to pay out the grants. And if we're going to grow on a more global basis, it's £1,000 per person sort of thing. So quickly that can become £500,000, £1 million in grants that we're giving out. We've got to raise that somehow. So that's going to be our limitation to how successfully that we can grow, because there's no, the truth is there's no real shortage of young people, aspirational young people who want to set up their own business. It's the way people are these days. There's so many different avenues to markets and generating interest and generating revenues. It's a completely different world. So yeah, that's our ambition. A more national Epic would be where we're headed at.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And obviously, in terms of, I've got a few contacts in the West Midlands. Whereabouts are you based in the West Mids?
In Harborne.
Right.
So that's where we.
Yeah. So what we'll do, obviously, when this goes out, we can obviously share it to all of our contacts in those areas and see what we can build up around that as well for you.
Thank you.
In terms of, obviously, we know that globally funding's the big thing for a lot of organisations. Do you ever look at working with other charities? Do you ever look at sort of doing collaborations and partnerships with other organisations that you maybe that align together and you can fit and work together on?
So I haven't properly looked into that yet. So my role within Epic is about partnerships and relationships and looking at ways to generate income, but also to formalize relationships with business, with corporates, with individuals who can help support the business, either through the sort of the mentoring services or provision of some of the masterclasses, and obviously through financial contributions to help support us. So I haven't looked at sort of collaborative efforts and partnering with charities as such. I've sort of much more gone down the private business, private enterprise individuals route.
Yeah.
And as I sort of said to you before we started this podcast, I knew that generating income and partnerships was tough in the charity sector, but I had no inkling about just how difficult it would be. And it makes sense, there's a lot of charities out there, there's a lot of good causes, and there's a lot of businesses and companies and individuals that have their preferred good cause. So it's about trying to marry up the right business with the right charity. And I've been to a lot of networking groups and a lot of meetings and what have you, and spoken to a lot of people. And, there are an awful lot of very long faces who are tired of the difficulty and the monotony of trying to generate revenue and income to support the charity. And it's always, I go to these networking events and it's not the same old faces, but it's the same depressed, sad, tired people, absolutely battle-worn people. So what I'm trying to do, there's a lot of talk with corporate social responsibility. There's a lot of talk about social value, social impact. And what I'm trying to do is see if there's a way of marrying up CSR within corporates and social value, and seeing if there are ways that you can intelligently work with corporates to realign some of their profits, or some of their margin spend on services that they procure, and distribute that to charities. So in effect, rather than going to corporates and saying to them, can make a donation or contribution to our charity, look at how they spend money on services that they're already procuring and see how you can effectively distribute that margin spend on those services to good causes. So I've got a few conversations underway with some large corporate organizations that I know that I have personal contacts with. And hopefully we're going to put together what I believe will be a massively disruptive way of providing certainly technology services, that's my background, to corporates. That's just going to change the way businesses buy services. It's going to be a massive disruptor if it works. So watch this space.
Sounds exciting. It sounds exciting.
It is. It is.
And we'll keep an eye on this as we move forward.
Well, yeah. So the idea is, I'm in the quite early stages of trying to put together a pilot or a proof of concept with a couple of clients, and these are big logos, and they will want their names put out there as innovative thinkers and showing ways that they are fulfilling their CSR obligations in an intelligent manner. It would look great in their annual reports, that sort of thing. So they will, if we can get them on board, and they are, the conversations are going very positively, they will be making a big song and dance about it. We will certainly be making a big song and dance about it. And then you're going to get the FOMO thing, the fear of missing out. If these big logos are doing it, the other big logos are saying, why the hell aren't we doing it? So I'm hopeful that this could be a bit of a snowball effect. But as I say, time will tell. Watch this space.
Oh, definitely going to be watching this space.
But I've got sweaty hands just thinking about it.
Yeah, but sometimes they're the best things.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're the best things to be able to go, actually, these are going to make that much of an impact. And yes, we get the sweaty palms, but actually it's worth doing.
Well, as I say, I see all these people getting really, down-mouthed about how difficult it is to generate income. And because I'm new to the sector, I'm sort of thinking, I don't want to go down that route. I don't want to be like that in a year's time. And I can't remember who said it, but it's the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to change. Well, I'm not interested in going down that route. I'm going to go down a different route, change things, and see what pops out the other end. And if it does change things for the better, then everyone's a winner.
Yeah, great. I love that. Just in terms of obviously young people signing up, if they came to you, what should they expect from making that initial contact with you?
So we will obviously they'll be speaking to a couple of my colleagues on the community side, and they'll have an initial sort of assessment, and not an interview, but a conversation about their business idea, their business plan, what they're looking to achieve out of it, what their goals and ambitions are. And they might be, if the idea has to be, it doesn't have to be a finished product or finished idea, but it has to be reasonably well thought out. And then, if they want to, we talk about the program and we enroll them on the program, and then they enroll in the masterclasses. The masterclasses take place typically over a 3-month period. So there's the initial five masterclasses over the 3-month period, and then we have a sort of celebratory graduation event at the end of that 3-month period. But then we can also, as I say, offer the ongoing support and mentoring for a period of time after that. Now, some of the people that sign up to the program, we after doing the graduation, having done the 5 masterclasses, don't really want much more mentoring or support, but some of them carry on, and we're happy to carry on for 12 months or so. That it's good to have that continuity. The more they engage with us, the more they put into us, the more they'll get out from us. But it's a simple step, and it's a simple process. It's just getting in touch with us. Our website is epicfuture.co.uk. They can register their interest there. And Mark or Lisa, who the 2 individuals that work on that side, we'll be back in touch with them in within minutes. Not this week though; they're on holiday.
Yeah.
It's half term.
Yeah, it is half term.
But it's a very simple process. That's what they can expect.
Yeah, that's great. So if someone was listening to this right now, what one action would you want them to take?
You asked me this. You said you'd ask me this, and I forgot you'd asked me this, and I can't remember. And I said, "Oh, that's a difficult question," and I can't remember what action would I say. The one action, if you're a young person, if you're 16 to 25, if you've suffered adversity, get on our website and sign up to the program. If you've got a good business idea, Epic will absolutely change your world. I guarantee you that the support, the services that we can offer you in terms of, as I say, the masterclasses, if you're a young person, if you've got an idea, get on the internet, get onto our website, contact us, get in touch with us and join the program. It will be great. That's the one thing that I'd say.
Brilliant. If they're over 25, share it and like that.
We can't help people over 25, but if they know people, if an over 25-year-old knows an under 25-year-old, then get them to get in touch with us.
But yeah, so literally, if they're within that age bracket, jump on board, sign up.
Yeah.
If they're not, just share the podcast, go to the website, share the website. If they know a corporate, send it to a corporate to have a chat, anything like that.
It's all about spreading the word. Yeah, a small charity. It's really getting our name out there. Our name is out there with a good group of young people and communities in the West Midland areas. But let's get it broader. epicfuture.co.uk is our website. And if there are any corporates or businesses that are listening that want to provide the one-to-one mentoring that we offer to our young people, it's a very rewarding opportunity. We only ask for an hour a month from a mentor. I mentor a couple of the people myself, and it's absolutely fantastic. I wholeheartedly recommend it. So if they're corporates listening and they want to support the business through mentoring, that would be great. If they want to support our charity through financial contributions or want to know more about our sort of new offering, then that would be great as well. Feel free to get in touch.
Brilliant. And can they do that? Can they do the mentoring? Does it have to be face to face, or can it be online as well?
No, that can be virtual. 99% of the mentoring we do is virtual, just by the way the world is at the moment.
Awesome.
The way it is now.
Brilliant.
But yeah, so it's very flexible. We, if they can spare an hour of their time every month, and then it's a case of matching the mentor up to the mentee. Because really what we want to try and do is make sure that if we are providing a mentor, that mentor has an understanding, an interest in either the business or can relate to the mentee in some way, shape or form, maybe in terms of background or whatever. And then we can match them up and they can provide that hour a month or more if they want to. But we sort of say minimum hour per month. It's quite addictive. So I started doing it when I joined, and I got quickly sucked into starting off with an hour a month. But actually, it's so engaging. It's so interesting what some of these young people are doing that I ended up sort of, having an hour call with them at 10 o'clock in the evening when they pinged me a message and sort of said, can we have a chat tomorrow about something? I said, no, let's do it now. If you can do it now, I'd love to sort of get into it. And it is addictive because they're on a journey, and it's an exciting journey for them. And it's an exciting journey for you because you want them to be successful. And if you can, provide that little nugget, that little bit of gold that can help them fulfill and help them see, the wood from the trees or a problem that they're facing with their business, then that's just great. It's fantastic. It really is quite a fulfilling experience, I have to say.
Amazing. That sounds incredible. Obviously, you've mentioned the Epic website. If you just want to mention that again for me, so we know where people can find you.
So www.epicfuture.co.uk. EPEIC future FUTURE.co.uk.
And then obviously all the other socials as well, I'm assuming.
Yes, all the sort of LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever the hell it is. I'm too old. I'm decaying. I'm so old. But all that stuff.
All the other social medias.
Yes.
Robert, thank you for your time. It's been
Dominic,
great
it's
to
been-
have. It's been great to have you on.
And I'm so very grateful to you for letting us come on and talk to you about our charity. And thank you so much. It's been great to speak to you as well. I'm really grateful.
No problem at all. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is the Charity Connector. I'm your host, Don Fenton, and I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.